On the day of Emily's school entrance ceremony, David told a lie about having a business trip and went off on a vacation with his mistress.
Hey, where's the photo of her in her backpack?
Despite betraying his family, he seemed to want to see a photo of Emily wearing her backpack. In response to such a husband, Susan sent him a photo of his infidelity instead of Emily's photo, and as he panicked, she pressed on with a certain revelation. My name is Susan. I am a housewife in my late 50s, and I'm American. My husband's name is David, he's also American, and the same age as me. We live together with our daughter Emily, who is about to start elementary school this fall. David and I have been together since college, and we got married after becoming working adults. He has always been someone who brightens up the surroundings, and I thought we could build a warm and cheerful family together. It's been 8 years since we got married, and our daughter was born a year after our wedding. Lately, I've noticed some changes in David's behavior. He's been working overtime, even on weekends, and he's become inseparable from his smartphone. What are you doing on your phone even after getting into bed?
I'm playing a game.
I don't think it's good to play games in bed. It might have a bad influence on Emily.
Yeah, I'll be careful.
So, what game are you so obsessed with?
It's a game for adult men.
Is it? Then, be extra careful not to let Emily see it. Apart from the game, I'm worried about David's recent weight gain. Hey, I know this might not be the best way to put it, but have you gained weight?
Yeah, I think so. Lately, I've been skipping meals at home in the mornings and evenings and just grabbing convenience store bento boxes.
Even though there are plenty of healthy options in convenience store bentos these days.
But whenever I see fried food, I can't resist buying it.
My husband said that with a laugh, but it felt strange coming from someone who's always been more conscious about their body shape than anyone since our student days. I did feel a sense of suspicion about my husband's behavior, but during that time, I was busy with my daughter starting elementary school. In addition to work, I was attending events like the kindergarten's thank you party and graduation ceremony. And explanations about the after-school care she would receive once she started elementary school. Time passed by quickly. The kindergarten graduation ceremony was said to have only one parent in attendance. That day, I ended up attending because I was serving as a committee member for the thank you party after the graduation ceremony.
It's a shame that it's the last event at kindergarten, but maybe it's just as well for me since work has been busy lately.
Even on the day of the graduation ceremony, my husband, who came home late from work as usual, looked a little lonely when I showed him the photos from our daughter's graduation ceremony. It couldn't be helped that there were circumstances at the kindergarten for the graduation ceremony. But next month's entrance ceremony allows 2 parents to attend, so please adjust your work schedule for it.
Yeah, I got it.
I couldn't help but feel a little uneasy about my husband's somewhat anxious demeanor. Then one day, I received a call from my friend Linda, whom I've known since high school, saying she wanted to give a congratulatory gift to Emily for starting school, so we decided to meet during lunch break.
What does Emily do while you're at work after she graduated? Do you leave her with her grandparents?
She's in the kindergarten's extended care program right now, and then she'll be in the after-school care program starting next month.
I see. It's convenient for you as a working mother.
Linda, what kind of work are you doing now?
I'm currently working at an investigation company.
An investigation company, like a detective agency?
Something like that. Well, it may not be relevant to you, Susan.
Upon hearing that Linda was working as a detective, I decided to confide in her about the unease I've been feeling about my husband lately. After thinking for a while, Linda suggested that she could investigate that aspect of my husband for me.
That's right. If nothing else, it could just be your husband's negligence and gaming addiction, or maybe he's just looking at sites he doesn't want you to see.
Linda said she wouldn't accept the investigation fee if no results were obtained, and I didn't want to continue suspecting my husband, so I decided to request her services. The next day, something happened.
My business trip was unexpectedly scheduled, so I won't be able to attend the entrance ceremony.
My husband confessed. But you've never been on a business trip before, have you?
You don't know anything about my work, do you? I've had day trips before.
But is it only this time that you're staying overnight? Couldn't you ask someone else?
It's my daughter's once-in-a-lifetime elementary school entrance ceremony. Of course, I want to attend.
That's true. Although I replied like that, I still harbored suspicions about my husband. And 3 days after talking to Linda, she contacted me to report the investigation results. I entrusted my daughter to my parents and invited Linda to my house.
There's something that's been bothering me.
Linda said, showing me several photos. There, an unfamiliar woman was pictured walking arm in arm with my husband. There were also photos of my husband entering a building that seemed to be the woman's apartment. So, David really was cheating, right?
What do you want to do from here, Susan?
What do you mean?
Is knowing that he's cheating enough? Or are you considering divorce?
I don't want to be with someone who's cheating. Considering Linda, I want to think carefully, but I think I want a divorce.
Just because they're walking arm in arm or entering hotels or apartments together once doesn't mean it'll be dismissed as just a one-time mistake, and it'll be taken lightly as evidence.
These photos can prove that he was cheating, but are they still not enough?
That's right. If you're thinking of moving towards divorce, these photos may prove the fact of cheating, but they're not enough for use in court. I think it's better to gather evidence for at least 3 weeks to a month.
What I learned over these past few days is that my husband is likely cheating and that the photos only captured him entering the woman's house. I officially requested Linda to conduct surveillance on the day of my daughter's entrance ceremony, which my husband claimed he would be on a business trip for. I wanted to make sure my husband couldn't come up with excuses, and I wanted to have solid evidence in case divorce proceedings were brought up. On her daughter Emily's first day of school, Susan was left to handle the emotional weight as her husband David regretfully informed them he couldn't make it due to a business trip, leaving a void in what should have been a family moment. Susan, holding on to hope and trust in her friend Linda's investigative skills, decided to attend Emily's big day, determined to shield her from any shadows this day might cast in her memory. Emily, bubbling with excitement, adorned in her carefully chosen new backpack and outfit, became the center of their little photo shoot, gleefully planning to share this joy with her dad. Amidst the clicks and flashes, Susan's heart was heavy, wishing to convey the pain of their current reality to David and the other woman, hoping to awaken some sense of responsibility in them. The day concluded with Emily, overwhelmed by the day's emotions, drifting to sleep earlier than usual, her innocence a stark contrast to the complexity of adult decisions. In the quiet of the night, Susan, ensuring her daughter's peaceful slumber, found herself facing the harsh truths in Linda's report. David's deceit was laid bare, his so-called business trip was a leisurely escape with another woman. Their reckless abandon, captured in Linda's detailed report, showed a disregard for the sanctity of their family, with close interactions and casual touches painting a picture of betrayal. Susan, armed with this knowledge, faced the daunting task of navigating the stormy waters ahead, her resolve hardened by the love for her daughter and the betrayal of her husband. When I went through my husband's phone, the evidence of his affair became crystal clear. There was a recording of him and that woman kissing. My heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest, and I struggled to suppress the nausea as I listened. I never dreamed my husband could do something like this. The moment I received a text message from him, I was still reeling from the shock. His words, asking for a picture of our daughter in her backpack, made me feel like collapsing. How could he be so insensitive to our daughter? That message ignited something in me, a surge of anger rising up. In my fury, I sent him a calm, "I'm sorry" message along with a photo that a friend had sent me, a photo of him kissing his mistress. I was curious yet fearful of his reaction. What would he say in response to this photo? As my phone rang with a call from my husband, I took a deep breath before answering. I quietly waited for his words, bracing myself.
"This isn't what it looks like,"
he exclaimed. "What is it then?" I asked calmly. He began to make excuses, saying he was just fooling around with a woman from work. "Is that the best excuse you can come up with?" I couldn't hide my irritation.
"Believe me, I just met this woman today."
He desperately tried to explain. But there was no more trust left in his words. I let out a deep sigh and decided to tell him how I truly felt. "Enough with the lies. I see everything clearly now. I began, my voice steady yet laced with underlying emotion.
What?
David's voice echoed with confusion and a hint of fear. For quite some time, something about your actions didn't sit right with me. That's why I took the step of hiring a private investigator. She continued, her words deliberate and heavy with accusation.
You hired a private investigator? How could you do that?
David stammered, disbelief coloring his tone. Yes, I did. And let me tell you, your little affair isn't as secret as you thought. She's your colleague, isn't she? The one you've been sneaking off to see at her house, spending not just evenings but mornings too. My voice grew colder with each revelation.
It was all work-related, nothing more.
David tried to defend himself, his voice laced with desperation. Work-related? Is that why you've been enjoying her cooking? Having meals at her place and ours? It's no wonder you've gained weight. My words were sharp, cutting through his defenses. David fumbled for words, his guilt evident. I even have audio proof of your intimacy with her. There's no need for lies now, I declared, my voice unwavering.
Why would you go this far?
David's outcry filled the room, a mix of anger and disbelief. Why? You missed our daughter Emily's school ceremony for a romantic getaway with her, and now you have the audacity to question me? My voice rose in anger.
We couldn't get time off together.
David's voice trailed off, weak and unconvincing. If Emily really mattered to you, you would have prioritized her over any trip. By choosing her, you abandoned not just me but our daughter as well. My words were like a final verdict, leaving no room for argument. On the other end of the phone, David's voice broke as he pleaded.
Please forgive me.
Tears evident even through the distance. There's no forgiveness for this. The fact that you're not here, in our family home, speaks volumes. You've already ceased to be my husband and her father. Susan declared, her decision final and irrevocable. With that, she ended the call, cutting off any further pleas. Despite the barrage of calls and messages from David, she remained resolute, ignoring them all. The following morning, after ensuring Emily was off to school, I resolved to discuss the situation with both sets of parents, her own and David's. As they were about to gather, David returned home in a frenzied state. Despite the tension, they all sat together, 6 of them, in a room heavy with unspoken words and strained emotions. I, without a glance at David, who was now kneeling on the floor in a gesture of desperation, began to speak to their parents, her voice firm but tinged with the weight of the situation. I found out that David was cheating. I've already got the evidence, and I'm thinking about divorce. I confided with a serious look.
David cheating? But Emily just started elementary school. Isn't it too hasty to divorce over one affair?
You know, even married people can be attracted to someone else, right? Maybe it was just a little adventure. Please forgive him this one time.
David's parents tried to defend him, but Susan found no reason to forgive. I despise someone who, despite being married and a parent, prioritizes their own desires over everything else, I said angrily.
But David is really sorry. Look at him. It's important to forgive mistakes, isn't it?
Edward said, glancing at David. Don't say that. Whether I forgive David or not is my decision, I responded firmly.
If you divorce, you'll be taking a father away from Emily.
Yesterday was Emily's school entrance ceremony. Knowing that, David went on a trip with another woman, I said sadly. Moreover, I have a recording where he says he enjoys traveling with this woman more than attending his daughter's ceremony. Do you really think such a father is necessary?
Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
David begged with his head bowed, but I was unmoved.
My son is apologizing, and I apologize too.
David's mother interjected. I don't need an apology from you. I can't stay with someone who disregards his daughter. I will divorce David, and I won't let him take Emily. After I declared this, David and his parents fell silent. I contacted a lawyer her parents recommended and started the official divorce proceedings. She demanded about $30,000 in alimony from David and agreed that he would pay about $700 monthly for child support. It was an affair with a colleague. David's position at work became untenable, and he eventually left the job, but I only wished that he would fulfill his responsibilities towards their daughter. The mistress initially denied the affair and refused to pay, but Susan had solid evidence. After explaining that the affair led to the divorce, the mistress finally acknowledged the truth and agreed to pay about $20,000 in damages. Both ended up paying a hefty amount in alimony, a consequence of their actions driven by desire. David, having lost his job and separated from his family, now lives with his parents. Because of the gossip my mother-in-law, Margaret, spread about me, claiming I was the reason our son lost everything for not forgiving a single indiscretion, the whole neighborhood has turned against them. Despite this, we're stuck living here because all our savings were used to cover the alimony my husband, David, had to pay in my stead. Considering my daughter, Emily, just started school, I rented a new apartment in the same district to avoid changing her class. I haven't told Emily the detailed reasons behind the divorce yet, but when I explained that her dad found someone else and couldn't live with us anymore, she just said, "I see." I believe she sensed something, even at her young age. I plan to tell her the whole story when she's older and if she wants to know. For now, I'm focused on living a peaceful life with Emily, who seems happy.